Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Men's Couch, episode 2. I'm Alex,
I'm Danny.
I'm Micah.
and welcome back to the Men's Couch, a show where we talk about men's mental health. Micah, you want to start us off?
Yeah, so today Dimitri and Marm are not going to be here, but they're not here. But the topic of this week, we're going to be discussing stress. Um, it's been a rough week for everyone, all of the men on the podcast and like all around campus. It's just been a rough week, and just midterm week. Everyone's studying. Everyone just like trying to make sure they have everything together. It's just been a really stressful week. So we've been joking about like how we're asking like, how are you? Just like, oh, I'm good, but you're not really good. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
hmm
Yeah, midterms. It's new to us because we're all freshmen. I mean, we've had like midterms in high school, kind of. Like I don't know what was called in your guys' high schools.
Keystones.
Like, oh yes, that was it. Keystones.
Yeah, because it's representing like Pennsylvania.
Right.
Yeah, I had like midterms in high school, but it wasn't like, I don't know. It was stressful too. I think both situations are just stressful, and I think midterms sort of like reveal how we deal with stress or how we have to deal with stress in our lives, because it can be a really intense week or intense couple of weeks. So, um, for me, stress, it's it can be hard to admit and to talk about for me because I'm always like I don't always like to admit that I'm stressed out, and just like asking for help is another thing too when I'm stressed. But um, I think like even like yesterday when like you were helping me move into my new dorm, it was just like I don't like asking for help, but um, seeing that how that relates to stress, if we don't ask for help, we get, like our stress levels do go up if we don't like get help, or if we
Hmm.
we can have like our little coping things that we do that are not really helpful. But um, I like to see what's like everyone's like thing on stress. Like, what are some like good things you like good ways you deal with stress, or what are some like bad ways you deal with stress, or how is uh stress for you?
So I know from like my experience, I know like the good ways you can deal with like your stress and emotions are basically just calming down, or say for example like me, I do meditation, so it always works best for me, especially like when I'm going through like a really stressful time, or I don't think I'm
Mm,
gonna like make it through all the way. I just do that. I also listen to music to help calm down, or like
okay.
maybe sleep for like a little bit.
Mm,
But always like the bad ways to deal with your stress is like thinking about it like way too much. Like say for example, like something's gonna tear you down, or I know from my experience, like I get oily skin whenever my stress gets really bad. And to do that, I usually try thinking positively about expectations, or just like what's coming around me.
so like overthinking like expectations, or
Yeah, pretty much like
yeah.
expectations meaning like ways to calm down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, Definitely agree with that because I have me personally, I have a long like history with stress, especially in middle school.
Oh.
Yeah,
I don't think you
I
Yeah.
was sitting upright for this one.
That's
All
where like all began.
Middle school, yeah, it's definitely not a
Yeah.
let's just say a nice place. Um, but during those times, there would be just months of me just stressed out, and that's all I can think about.
It's like a chronic form of stress. Just
Exactly.
all
Like
the time.
especially fifth through I want to say seventh grade, all I felt was stress.
Oh my
Like
gosh.
through beginning of fifth grade all the way to literally the beginning of seventh grade, which is all just stress. To the point where there was a period after that where I just didn't feel any stress whatsoever, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Me
Because
just
you were
like
kind of like used to
I
it.
felt stressed for so long that any other stress, I just didn't care
Oh my god.
at a certain
Wow.
point.
I did not know about that.
Like
didn't
I
know
just
that.
didn't give a crap about anything
Just
because
like,
I
oh, I'm just stressed out. It's just I'm just stressed. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Because you usually seem like pretty happy in general, and
Yeah.
like
I try to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Positive,
someone's
I
got to be
mean.
like, like
Like
I wouldn't say
happy.
the sunshine, but like
Yeah.
I always try to like, what's the word? Tone down the mood.
Yeah.
That makes sense. But nowadays, I try to handle stress well, like play video games or work on my movies
Mhm.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's just like stress could definitely be a pretty big factor in people's lives. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a factor. For me, it's always like it always gets what used to, not so much anymore, but it always got to like a breakdown point where I would just like go on for too long until I like broke down and just couldn't go anymore. Where it's like where you're burnt out, you don't have the energy to do anything else anymore. And I think when it gets to that point, there are like a lot of factors that can keep stress going. Like just you like somewhere inside of you, you're just like, oh no, I got this. I can do this. You're just like, I can push through this. I can push through my midterms. I can keep studying for like 5 hours and not like have a break. And once you're just in the stress mode where you're just always stressed and that's just normal for you, I think that's where it becomes a problem. Because not all stress is like, I don't think all stress is a bad thing.
Oh no, stress could be a good thing.
It's a good thing. I feel like sometimes it could be a good thing. It
and
could
in
just-
some ways are like really bad because you can't control it.
It's
yeah,
like a fight or flight response.
yeah,
If that kind of makes sense.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
like your response to just like things in your life, and I think stress can sometimes be a little bit of a motivator for us to do things, but sometimes it's like it could be like overwhelming where you just like have so many burdens to carry
Mm-hmm.
and you don't or so many things on your plate and you don't want that all the time. So
Right.
I think
Yeah.
just I think stress, I think it can have like a lot of negative connotations to it, but I think once here's my thing, my
Mhm.
opinion. It's gonna be like my
Mhm.
experience based on like my opinion. I think like once we sort of change sort of like our view of stress a little bit, just like a little bit, we can like see it as like not always a bad thing and see it as like, okay, I'm stressed now. This is normal. First of all, it's completely normal to be stressed. I feel like we need to let's just start with that. We need to like make room for like it being normal. And I don't know if you guys feel this, but like I feel like we talked about like in the last podcast where like if someone asks how you're doing and you just say you want to say like, oh, well, I'm stressed, but you say you're good. I think there's a part of that where we're not allowing ourselves to be honest about how we're stressed. How do you feel about that?
That's completely accurate. Like the whole like thing of saying I'm fine,
Yeah.
but in reality you're not.
Yeah.
And also of like being afraid of like what you said, asking for help
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to certain things.
Staying for me.
Of like not just like your example. I'm like there's certain things where like you need help but you don't want to ask for it. Like mentally or on a test or life anyway. Like yeah.
It's like you relate.
Yeah, I'm kind of going with like what Alex is saying because it's normal to feel stressed out because people have like gone through it so long and it kind of builds up until you don't have like any more work to do. Pretty much until like the end of like finals, pretty much.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, even this week for our first midterms. And it's only Tuesday
This
while
week
we're
has been
recording this.
quite rough for a lot of people.
Huh?
I said this week has been quite rough for a lot of people.
Yeah,
I'm
definitely.
noticing just like it's just been a lot for college students, and I think we need to first like admit that it's rough. We need to like admit that to
Mhm.
each other,
Right.
Right.
Especially men, we need to admit that. But like just in general, we need to admit that this is a hard week for me, and that like it doesn't. You don't need to like solve. We don't need to always like solve stress, but I think like admitting that we're stressed can definitely be a lot in like alleviating the stress. But I have to say what you mentioned about like help. I'm still learning how to ask for help, and
Yeah.
Yes.
this was like yesterday. I couldn't ask for help. I couldn't come to myself to ask for help, and I think it's a lot. It's a mixture of like pride and like I don't want to feel like a burden to other people.
Yeah, burden. Yeah. I was
That's
thinking
what
that.
I feel all the time. Like honestly, like out of all weeks, like this week, my anxiety's never been this bad. Like I had so much work to do, studying for like 2 midterms, not one like last week. So
Mhm.
it's definitely like a lot on your plate.
Indeed. Yeah, I have 2 midterms. I have one tomorrow, one Thursday. And yeah, it's definitely different because we're in a new environment. Well, we've been
Mhm.
here for a little bit.
Yeah, but there's a
Yes.
lot of things to adjust to.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, speaking of stress as well, like college in general, like before I got here, I didn't know what the heck I was doing.
I didn't either.
Like
I
I
don't know
know
what was going on.
I know what the heck I was getting into, especially getting it early for me personally because of marching band.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
I was doing it early, not knowing anybody.
Do you remember when it rained on our first day, or it stormed like our first day here?
I think so. Yeah.
It was like a big storm.
Uh huh.
I could sleep. I could not sleep with the storm.
Oh my, yeah, the light. Okay, bit off tangent, but the lightning strike was insane.
I know that was scary for me. That's like
It was like that for like 2 days. But anyway.
I was
Anyway.
still at home when that happened.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Because I didn't come in until the 24th.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Mike and I, we were here from the 11th of August.
Yeah. That's
Oh my.
sometimes, but so you were saying like about like college, like you don't know what you were doing.
Yes, like I didn't know what college was all about, and I was still fighting the fact of or whether I wanted to go here or another college,
Mm-hmm.
and I just decided here. But then I had a double anxiety. I'm like, oh crap, did I choose the right college? Oh.
Yeah, it's kind of like you're just like not regretting it, but like you're worried about did I make the right decision or. You
It's
know,
the
did-
fear of the unknown, I think.
Yeah, the fear of the unknown.
That's definitely a big thing when it comes to stress.
And it's like new, so you're just like you're sort of having like that. I don't know what I would say like imposter syndrome or it's sort of like yeah, like that doubting. Like, did I make the right decision? It's like sort of like
Yeah.
in the back of your
Yeah.
mind. Like
Definitely
I
a
don't
good
know.
question.
Yeah, yeah, I would say that.
Like I have to say, like on the first day, like I was like, this was the biggest mistake I've ever made in my life.
Yeah.
Like I was literally bawling my eyes out for the first few hours of like this whole move-in process, but I kind of got over it like 2-3 o'clock after moving in at like 10.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I kind of feel comfortable here now, but I didn't really meet my actual friends until like the second night. So I was kind of like on my own like the first day and like the second afternoon, pretty much,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
until I met you at the bonfire that night, and then
Yeah,
you at the
yeah.
island thing,
Yeah.
and then like other people on the third day, pretty much.
Yeah, definitely.
And then like those 2 girls that I met on the bus, Lauren and Jade.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
On the-
Lauren,
Yeah.
Special shout out.
And
yeah.
then her
Um,
roommates on like the third day.
Yeah. Special shout out to our friends if
Yeah.
you're listening
Oh
to this.
yeah.
Hope you're listening.
But all of that is stressful. All of that is stressful. Like all of what you mentioned is just stressful to move to a new place and to not. It's like unfamiliar. It's not familiar, and you don't have any friends yet. And it sort of shows you like changing different like life stages and life seasons. Because those of you that are listening, you know, of course, you might not be in college. You might be in college or whatever life stage. Changing life stages is very stressful, and it's just you sort of there's a lot of questions that come up. Like, did you make the right decision? What are the new challenges that I'm gonna have when facing like this new life season, this new life thing? Is there gonna be like whether you're getting married or you're getting a new house or whatever, or moving.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
all of us moved. We all live on campus, so that was like I moved like yesterday.
Well,
So
this
it's
man
just, like,
moved twice.
it's all of it like has to do with life seasons and like how it brings up stress. It brings up stress, but it also brings up our mindsets that we carry about ourselves and how we deal with our lives. Like, are we gonna beat ourselves up for having things look messy? Cause stress, I feel like stress can be like similar to like just life looking messy. Cause like our lives look messy, but are we gonna be okay with that?
Yeah.
Mhm.
What do you think?
I'm like, I'm sorry. What was the question? I was.
So about like basically it's just like how our life looks messy. Like, are we okay with the stress and the messiness of life? Like how can we be okay with that?
I feel like experience
Yeah,
is definitely a good part of that.
yeah,
Like when we don't know what to do, we freak out.
yeah.
But then as we adapt to where we are, like for example, like every first day
being
of school
resilient.
for everybody is a tad bit stressful. But
yeah.
as we slowly adapt to that, as we
Mhm.
slowly figure out what's going on, then our stress slowly deteriorates. Do you think that like?
I think so too.
But
Because we get used to it.
yeah, I mean, of course, when it
Uh,
comes to test everything, that stress is like sort of goes back up.
Yeah.
But
Yes. And also like experience pretty much like always looking into things and like see what RMU is about
Mhm.
yeah,
and
definitely.
like the other activities you can join from it.
Can help alleviate stress.
Yes.
I think we're a lot more like resilient than we think we are. We think we're not able to handle the stress that we have, but we're doing better than we think. I think sometimes we can like sometimes overestimate the stress. There's like two sides of the coin. We can like overestimate the stress and like underestimate our ability to handle the stress.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
also sometimes we could just be like, oh, we can like lie to ourselves and we will be like, I'm fine, but we're not. There's like two sides of it.
Right.
So I think there can be like a level of confidence that we can just go, well, I don't have everything figured out, but I think I'm doing better than I feel
Yeah,
or think I am. If
exactly.
that makes sense.
That's kind of what I meant. Like
Yeah,
like
that makes
adapting
sense.
and like getting experience
Yeah.
through that sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think also stress like at different parts of my life it like reveals how I deal with life and what are my coping strategies.
Mm-hmm.
So I think before it was just like sort of like just like self-pity and just like, oh, woe is me, I can't deal with this. I didn't know how to move through stress in a like productive way and like more like I was more like reactive instead of just like being proactive with stress.
Yes,
'Cause
I was sort of the
Yeah,
same
I
way.
for
would relate
sure.
to that.
Yeah, I feel like all of us could kind of relate to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not just saying that like because stress can put you in the bed for like a day or two. At least in my experience, stress can like
Those mornings you don't want to get up.
you don't want to get up, so stress
No.
can put you in the bed. But I
AKA
think
my Mondays. But yeah.
and then there's me like get up at 4 a.m. to Alex. But anyway, I think what was the thing I was saying like being like proactive and stuff. I think sometimes we can be like our mind can get so clouded by the stress that we become like so reactive about it. Our moods will change and we start like getting like irritable at everyone around us.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, which we were just talking about conflict and like how to forgiveness. and
How to
stuff
like
that.
get over things that you're struggling with.
Yeah, which
Yeah,
we were just talking
definitely.
about that. So
Yes.
yeah, I think stress to me also relates to how honest are we gonna let other people around us know how stressed we are?
Mhm.
Are we going to like, because you don't have to like tell everyone everything. Like, I don't like believe just like, oh, just tell everyone like everything. Like, that can be like a bit like
That's a bit. Yeah, but it's still good to tell people.
to
About
like
certain
reveal
things.
that. And I think even though like it won't like solve the stressor, I think it deals with our um with men, especially like in America, our like mindset with like being like the lone soldier.
Yeah.
Do you really? I don't hope I'm
No,
like
like
making
you
sense.
feel like you're alone. Is
Yeah.
that what you mean?
Yeah. Or you have to be alone. You have to
Yeah.
do that.
Like you have no choice to do so, pretty
yeah,
much.
like you just have to just like face things like by yourself, and we don't like realize that there is help out there. I think we just like, again, this is going to go back, and I think it might be a common theme of the podcast is going to go back to like how we are socially,
Mhm.
the social aspects with how men react to stress,
Right.
with how we be tough.
Yeah.
Be tough, Alex.
Yes.
America.
Peace out.
Sports.
Which I don't think it's not always a bad thing. Like, of course, we need to like have a level of strength to get through the stress.
Mhm.
But I think like be
Yeah.
tough can be sort of like more like as a way to hide everything.
Yeah.
Like as be tough and just like ignore all the stressful feelings. Like just ignore it all. Be tough and everything.
Because we're men, we can't go.
Yeah,
to
like
the
men
people
don't
for
get
problems.
men don't get stressed.
No, not as much as like women do. I'm not gonna be like sexist or anything, but
Well, no, I'm just saying like that's the saying is like men don't get stressed.
That's a
but
stereotype.
that's a
Yeah.
stereotype.
Yeah.
But thankfully, that stereotype is kind of going away.
Yeah,
when
I
it
think
comes
it's
to recent
like
times.
it's going away. I think it's getting better too, as far as that, as far as that goes. I think it's getting better, but
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm just saying it's a stress. I keep saying stress.
Yeah, stress
Um,
is stress.
Stress is stressful. It's very stressful. I think for me, it's also knowing when I'm stressed. I don't always know when I'm stressed. I'm always like,
True, yeah.
if we're always
Uh-huh.
on the hassle, we're always on the go, like the hustle culture. I don't know if you ever heard about that
I
term.
think I've heard of it. I'm not entirely sure what it is. Is it like on the go all
On the
time?
go, like girls on
Never-
the go.
yeah, I'm kind of with Alex. Like I kind of know what it is,
Yeah.
but don't exactly know what the full
Yes.
definition is.
Yeah, it's basically like you're just always on the go and never take a break to sit down or just anything. It's just like, oh no, because I say this sometimes, like, no, I'll take a break when I'm dead. Like that meme, it's like, I'll take a break when I'm dead.
Never give up.
So it's like, it's that where you're just like always on the go, and it's that burnout mindset because you feel like you should always be working. You should always be on the go.
Mhm.
But rest is an important part of stress. If we're always just on the go, how are we gonna like recharge?
Exactly. It's like a workout where when you do a like a set, you have to rest. Have your muscles rest.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, it's not gonna go on your second rep because you're not gonna be able to do the capacity that you would if you were to rest.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we feel guilty for resting. Oh, I mean, at least I do.
I
I'm gonna say I feel guilty for
that's
resting
definitely me
sometimes.
too. Yeah.
When I feel like I should be doing work, and I think I'm getting better with this. So just like closing my laptop, just like I'm done for the day.
Yeah.
I always
like
feel like it's a big mistake whenever I like lay down for like 2 hours or
like
just
you're
working.
self-conscious.
Yeah.
It's like you know what I'm talking about, Danny?
Yeah.
You're kind of getting into that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I can't do no more work. I'm too tired. I've been doing it for like 6-7 hours.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's why, like, for me, I have like at 5:30 or 6 or 6:30 around there, I stop working on school
Mhm.
work
Mhm.
and just go have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Like men's couch fun. That's good.
Yes, exactly.
Man's conflict.
Yeah, because like if I feel like if I don't stop, I'm gonna burn myself out
Mm-hmm.
or get more stressed. And also, I'm here to also have not only learn but also have fun.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, I'm like old school, so I just like go and have fun, like and go out there and make new friends.
Yeah.
I stop around 8 o'clock and then like have fun until the night, till
Mhm.
like midnight or 1 in the morning, usually.
we should do something in the basement today.
Oh yeah.
But anyway,
Anyway.
but as far as like fun and stress, we feel like sometimes we're not allowed to have fun because we're adults now, and we're just like, oh, adults don't have fun. All we do is like work, and
work.
Well, it's-
Work.
we always feel like we have to just be working, and I want to be like, if life allows me to like be at a certain age or if I'm older, I want to tell like the younger generations like life it doesn't have to be all about like work. I want to tell them that I had some fun
Yeah.
in my youth or
Yeah.
just like in general. Like I think adults are just like always having to work, but they need to work. Well,
They need
not
a break.
adults.
They need like anyone should have a break and still
Yeah.
have fun no matter what age they are.
Yeah, I think we need to like have fun without like feeling guilty about having fun.
Yeah. Or taking a break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we don't need to feel shame over it about like taking
Yeah.
a break. Like this is my capacity, and everyone has different like capacities as far as like how much stress they can handle. That's another thing too. So we have different capacities. Like Daniel might be able to handle more stress in a certain area than me. I don't know. I don't know
I think
that
it like happens
personally.
to everyone pretty much.
Yeah.
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 But yeah, this and also we handle stress differently too. But we need to like know our limits.
Yeah.
Know-
Mhm.
Yeah. If you potentially break that limit, you could potentially break yourself.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Break yourself.
And people do need to like know their limits because, say for example, like you're stuck on something mentally. You need to like find out like what your strengths are or how you can get it all accomplished.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah. And just admitting that we have limits. All the men out there, admit that you have limits.
Do it.
Do
admit
it now.
admit that we have limits.
I mean,
That's
it
a
is
good
definitely
quote.
easier said than done.
It is easier said than done.
Yeah, like all three of us were like saying like just get well not really, but like someone could say like get rid of stress to somebody,
Mm-hmm.
which even that's way easier said than actually being accomplished.
Yeah, I'm still like learning how to deal with stress.
Usually people would say like they wish it was like one said and done, but they need to like find a way to figure out their stress like in more than like those 3 ways.
Yeah,
I need to write a quote like that. Just like all the men out there admit that you have limits.
well now let's record on this podcast, Micah.
Humor is another thing.
Yes.
Humor is a great like antidote or reliever of stress.
Mhm.
Helps alleviate stress. Can you guys relate to that? Like humor is helpful.
Humor or like entertainment in general.
We can do like both. I was like saying humor, like
Well, I meant like kind of like both.
laughing at like sometimes we need to like laugh about our stress.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, like for example, when I'm done studying, like for a test or something, I would do like a 5-minute or 10-minute break, looking for TikToks or Instagrams with just funny reels or stand up. I really like stand up, like comedy sketches.
I love SNL.
I mean,
watch a
not
lot of
not really
SNL.
like that. I mean, that is also funny, but also more like people like on stage talking with a laugh, like people laughing in the background. That calms me for some reason. I just like that. But like, what about you guys? Is there like any like entertainment things you guys watch to calm down?
Usually I like listen to music or just like sleep to like make myself feel better,
Mm-hmm.
just like doze off, like
Yeah.
not actually like sleeping like REM. Or usually I just like stretch my back.
That's true.
Yeah.
Watching Friends. Watching Friends and
I love Friends.
watching Friends and also just like a lot of humor, using a lot of humor for when stressed out. Um, I was laughing yesterday because I was really stressed about moving yesterday, and someone like one of like just someone on campus, well a lot of people on campus were like asked me like what was wrong because I guess it looked like I got kicked out, but it was just like more like that helped, like laughing about it like helped me
Mm-hmm.
so much that I felt like calmer about the stress, and just like laughing your stress off really helps.
That's good. That's good.
That's
Or
good.
like watching me like SNL or whatever
Mhm.
helps with stress, helps to
Uh-huh.
alleviate stress. So
Yeah, it's great because like, everyone has their own ways to like compete or not compete, handle stress
handle stress. Yeah.
or distract themselves from stress.
Yeah.
And honestly,
Mhm.
that's beautiful. You know.
Yeah. I did you guys read the quote that I sent a quote?
I did see that. I thought that was awesome.
You sent a quote.
I don't know. It was like, okay.
In the men's
So-
couch group chat.
So the quote is, and it's by an Alex. Surprise, surprise. So many men could well be struggling with issues of self-identity and self-confidence, just as you, but some are simply better at wearing the masks that hide their authentic selves. By Alex Holmes. I think I'm gonna like take that quote and like see how it relates to stress because it's talking about a lot of like topics there, but basically how it relates to stress is that many people are going through stress, especially now with like midterms and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we're always trying to like have this, well, who can hide it better sort of like competition, like, oh, I can hide it better than you, so that means I'm handling stress better than you. Like, no, you're having the same stress, it just doesn't necessarily look like it. And there needs to be a lot of understanding for like why we sometimes get into those ways of like how we hide stress,
Mm-hmm.
because we're and it reveals that we don't feel. I keep going back to it again about like how we just don't feel like socially we don't feel comfortable revealing that because it's like seen as a weakness.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see what I'm saying?
No, I do. Yeah.
Sort of.
Yes. I totally
Like-
understand what you're saying, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like fear makes us weak, which
Yeah.
can't be further from the truth. Like it can't be
Yeah.
further from the truth because fear is just a mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it doesn't make you weak at all.
Yeah.
It actually makes you stronger, especially when you can overcome that fear.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or yeah, it's a way to like. I don't know where I'm going with that, but
Yeah.
you
like,
get what
it
I
just
mean.
like it's just regular emotions that like revealing to other people we feel sort of like weak. And I'm trying to get better at this, and just better with learning how to be honest. But I guess for the next couple of minutes we can talk about like moving forward, like as far as what we aim to, like what we hope for and how we deal with stress. Well, what do we all hope for, like for like this upcoming week, like midterms, like what are we like, what are our
I'm definitely getting an A in
Okay.
those midterms.
Hopefully, like getting good grades, and after that, like hopefully some things would calm down because I already done that accomplishment.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. Like things are probably gonna go down like smooth
Mm-hmm.
after this week. I'm assuming,
Yeah.
but overall game for the week.
Then we'll throw a party.
Party.
Midterm parties.
Oh God.
Have a dorm party in the midterms and bring like,
Actually, I want to
you know.
see if we can get werewolf in the basement soon. But so for me, I think I'm hoping that I can get better with handling stress and just better with sorry, I thought I heard noise. I'm hoping to get better with like how I handle stress, but also admitting that I have stress. That's a very hard thing for me to do.
Yeah.
And that was like evidence yesterday when I could like
I still helped you, bro. I got you.
yeah. So I think that's what I'm hoping for within like the next week.
Yeah.
Or just like in general. In the
I have like
future.
both your bags, so I'm rooting for you too, 110%.
Thank you.
Men's United.
Yep.
So I think that's something that we definitely need to talk about on the podcast. How we can like come together as like men
Mhm.
to help each
As
other.
a community. Yeah.
My foot
Yeah.
fell asleep. So
I feel
think-
like sometimes men are more distant from one another than like
we can talk about that. That's something that we can definitely talk about
Yes.
next week. But
Like-
how we're more competitive.
yeah, but
and
also like
distant.
distant from like problems from each other.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly
Yeah.
what you mean. It's like
I mean,
that's-
maybe we talk about that in a different episode, but like I feel like that's a good thing to bring up.
that's like really. You need to be our ideas manager.
I need to write this
Write some
down.
stuff
Like,
down because that's
I need to like take notes to like comprehend on all of this.
that's stuff. That's
I'm definitely gonna do that actually.
a definite thing
Yeah.
is that how even when we're talking about stress this week about how we can be distant when we're pretending that we don't have stress, so that lets other men know that we're not like that it makes you feel more alone, that no one's being honest,
Mhm.
but you have to be like sort of that stronger person to be honest, to like so that everyone can admit the same thing. But yeah, that's definitely a thing. So
Wait, what?
all right, so we're about to.
I think we're about to end the episode
I
right
think
here.
we're gonna end it. Danny's gonna sign us out.
Woo.
Well, thank you for listening to our podcast today. We hope to see you very soon.
Woo.
Well, actually,
Yeah.
next week.
Yeah,
Or
we'll see you next week.
We'll see you
On
next
another
week. Whoop whoop.
mental health, men's topic.
Men's couch.
Men's
Men's
Couch.
Couch.
Signing off. Whoop,
Signing
Signing
whoop.
off. Peace.